Welcome to part 2 of Bangn Body with Priscilla. If you haven't already checked out part 1, please go and have a bit of a look. And let's get into it, Sharron.
Can't wait.
When you say there's always, it's like business ownership is a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Right. So there's tough times, but there's also unbelievable times. And the unbelievable times, from what I've sort of talked to with people, they're not necessarily the Instagram stuff. They're really small and they're really unique to an individual. And I suppose my question really is, what is one of those times for you where you've sort of sat back and you're like, fuck, this is incredible?
I think it's more of an emotion, really. I've had a lot of those moments, physically, in terms of, working tirelessly on formulations that other people are like, it's good enough. And I'm like, no, it's not good enough. We need to keep pushing. We need to keep pushing. We need to keep pushing. And so trusting my instincts on that and then launching them, and then they become bestsellers, sold out. Jumbo sold out 8 times, oil 5 times, graduate tan 5 times. Like, knowing and trusting my instincts on never to settle. And I think that was a big thing. But my resilience, when I feel like, oh my God, how am I going to get over that hill? How am I going to overcome this emotion? How am I going to get there? And then you just do. And you look back and you go, oh, okay. And then you just build this armor that you feel you can conquer anything. And I feel like for me, it's just, it's a hard one. I feel when me and Jay can just sit and reflect and look back, not that we do that often, but when we can do that and seeing how far we've come together as partners in life and business, and now to see how we've rebuilt the brand and the internal team and the people that we're aligning with and the decisions that we're making, that's pretty special when at times where you feel like, how am I even going to get through this?
And you can even see that in the way that you answer, because when I asked the question around was there ever a time, there was never a time, because you were always thinking about how I'm going to push forward. It might be differently, but there was never, from the responses that you've just talked to, it was always about getting it back on your terms and pushing it forward in a way that worked for you. So however hard it was, it doesn't sound like there was ever a time where you went, am I going to make it? Am I actually able to do this? It was more around, I am going to do this. I'm just going to do it differently.
Yeah. And I think having that self-permission, because it's scary to go against the grain. Yeah. But I feel being a twin probably made me feel more capable, because I always wanted my own independence whilst being a twin, where the easiest way I can communicate it is I've always said, hi, I'm Priscilla, and I happen to be a twin, where Marie's like, I'm a twin and my name's Marie. Yeah, so she was always, the twin was her identity and my identity.
Can I ask, was she first or second?
She's first.
Yeah.
And so are you identical or?
Fraternal.
Yeah,
right. So, but both very similar mindset of entrepreneurial. She's got her own thriving hairdressing business. So very similar in those aspects. But yeah, she always wanted to do things with me. She always wanted, loved being a twin. I love being a twin too, but I was just like, I want my own identity. And I think also I blame my mum in a way, because she also pushed us to have our own identity. When we were in prep, separated us. You guys have to have your own friends, your own lives. And so when Marie would get shitty, I'm like, well, blame mum. She's the one that encouraged us to do this. So I think that side of going against the grain, having your own independence, if someone's going that way, you best believe I'm going the other way. Yeah. Because when me and my twin would walk out of our bedrooms as kids and we both had pink tops on, I was straight back in my room and I was changing that colour. So that's, I think, helped in my journey with Bangn.
That's funny.
You go. No, you go.
We're so cute together. I would say also talking to lots of different founders, and as the work that we do, we have lots of different founders and business owners. The loneliness element of being a founder, and you're probably in a privileged position to have a partner that you work so closely with, and there's some support there, but as a person owning the business, and we sort of touched on this before, it's tough, right? And there are things and there's work and there's energy levels and there's shit happens, personal, business, it's all, and there's most of the time it's all on your shoulders, right? And so I go, what part of those that sort of what's the loneliest part of, do you think, being a business owner and a founder?
I think you're right in saying that I do feel incredibly privileged to have Jake right there with me, because I don't feel alone for long.
Yep.
You know, we're in it together. I think for a very long time, I do a lot of self-work. I'm proud of that, and I've been working with a self-awareness coach / psychologist trained for about 3 years. And I've always considered myself as quite a private person. And I think that is a form of self-protection.
Yep.
And I think because I, have gone through things when I was younger and really forced into independence at a very young age, I couldn't rely on anybody else to protect me, so I had to protect myself. And the lonely aspect is, not having probably deep connections that I would love to have, because I love people. I love socializing. I love talking to people and getting to know people. And I think it's very interesting because when you're in my presence, you probably don't feel a distance, but I feel that I'm still very protective of, what I am and who I am, and I don't trust easy. So I feel the loneliness of that is not being able to call up a friend or a family member and be like, oh my God, this just happened, or shit's just hit the fan. So yeah, I think there's aspects of that where you don't show your life. It's only what people see. And then obviously they're like, how are you going? Bangn looks amazing. It's thriving. It's so exciting. I'm obsessed with the oil. I'm obsessed with the lotion. And that's really heartwarming to hear. And that's really, nice. But yeah, I think I'm learning, starting with my own family, that's I think a good start to kind of let them in a little more. Even my own twin sister, we've, had our differences, in the last however long. We've always been quite different people, aspirations similar, but just different people. And I think now coming together, and as we get older, having levels of maturity and understanding, and that it's going to be really nice to see that kind of unfold and break my walls down a little bit. But yeah, it's tricky because no one else really knows what goes on besides Jake.
And when you get into situations, and we all do, myself included, right? What grounds you? What is the thing? Some people say their partners, some people say their gym, some people, there's a whole bunch of different things. What grounds you?
Probably my nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
When I see anyone, family, friends, you'll never see me with my phone. I'm very aware and have strict boundaries when it comes to that. That if I have an opportunity to have dinner with someone, or if I get to, pick up my niece, I picked her up the other week from kindy, and then took her, went back to my sister's house and was able to play with my niece and nephew. You'll never see me with my phone. And I cherish those moments. And they ground me literally because I'm on the floor with them at their level. Yeah. And the excitement, I can't even tell you, it's very interesting what kids bring, because when you see people, they're like, hi, how are you going? It's nice, but the level of excitement that a child gives you to see you and run up and, I'm their godmum as well. So in Greek, it's Nonna. Yeah. And they're like, Nonna. And they run up to me, and then I carry them, and then she's smiling and beaming, and we're jumping up and down together. That just honestly warms my soul. Yeah. And even yesterday, I was with my nieces and sitting on the couch with them, I said, okay, girls, they're 5 and almost 3. I'm like, okay, girls, your mum and dad haven't told me what you want for Christmas. What do you want for Christmas? And they're like, oh, I want this, I want this, I want this. And we was talking, and they were showing, and I was like, okay, do you want to look it up? Do you want, on my phone, that was one moment I got my phone to, they're like, oh, can you look? They're like, oh, look on your phone. And then I would read, and they're like, is it that one? They're like, yeah, that one. And it was just the most cutest thing, as they're getting older, having their own personalities, one sitting on my lap, one sitting next to me, we're just having a little moment together. And that that grounds me so much.
for
That
sure.
makes me so happy.
And do you think we took our boys to this little playground, but there's a basketball court, and I think that there's a raw honesty in them. And there was a guy that was shooting basketball, and Remy, which is my middle one, he's 2.5. He was sitting there and he's like watching this guy, and he missed, and he goes, "Oh, you missed."
Oh,
And we're all like, shh. And then it's like, "Oh, you missed." And he stood there next to the basketball court. Congratulate when he got it in, he'd clap and he'd like, but he'd just keep telling him this guy missed. And I'm like,
God.
wow, he's not wrong. Did
Yeah.
miss, but there's a real, they don't have the social norms or anything like that.
No, they tell you how it is.
Correct.
Brings you back down to earth
Correct,
very quickly.
right?
I love that.
It was so funny.
I mean, my kids are older now, but I've got a 15-year-old daughter and she still does that. I mean, she's still bringing me down to earth every day.
Yeah.
It's super grounding. I just wanted to ask along, the years of Bangn Body since you started, has there ever been a time that you've felt people have underestimated you getting where you've got to?
Yeah, I think not necessarily where I got to, but underestimate my ability to understand and try to put a smoke screen in front of me because they just, she's a young girl, she's a young
I was
girl.
actually going to preface the question by saying, female leadership is hard enough as it is. So female founders, I was going to sort of throw that in as well, but I mean, you've put that in anyway. Is it because you were a female, do you think?
I think so, and my age. I think
so you're a young female.
Young, yeah, 20.
Right.
I was 22 when I ideated Bangn, and then 24, turning 25 when I launched Bangn.
Right.
So yeah, I still was getting to know myself, Yeah. And I have a good awareness scale, I feel, but I think there were a lot of times where I had to show up in conversations where they were like, they took a step back and go, oh, she knows more than I thought.
Right.
Because, they whether take advantage or whether try to persuade or lead you on a path that's going to be in their best interest. And at times I believed in the path and I actually went on the path and I learned a very quick, valuable, expensive lesson. But yeah, there were many times where I'm like, we'll see. Let them have their thoughts. And then by the end of it, they're going, yeah, holy smokes, they just don't expect it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Emotional versus, and we touched on this, emotional versus commercial challenges. And I go, how do you manage the decision-making criteria of everyone's doing it versus is that right for me? And I think that's always, and it's a challenge for us as a business, and it's a challenge for most businesses because we go, Sharron and I are very different in our approach, and I suppose when a decision comes up, we sort of both talk about it, and then I think most of the time we somewhat sit in the middle. With you, how do you approach, but how do you make some of those decisions because they're tough?
Absolutely, I think clarity is really important and making sure everyone within the organisation or in your surroundings know the intention around what you're doing and why you're doing it.
Yep.
Because if they don't know and they have autonomy, well, they're going to do what's best for them.
Yeah.
And so that's okay. You want people to have autonomy and responsibility in your organisation, but you want to make sure it's aligned to the core values and the vision of the brand for the customer. It's for them. It's not even for anyone involved in the business. We're at service for our customer. And if it is in line with the customer's, what we want to give them and their expectation, then I'm happy to explore it. And I think that's where it's choosing your battles in a way of, okay, if it's not becoming a detrimental aspect of your business that's going to derail, we're happy to try and learn and it might actually work. So there is a fine balance, but I think setting the expectation from the top, which we're going to reignite this before our Christmas party in 2 weeks, which I'm very excited for, with Juno, with the amazing Ben and Byron. So we're going to be doing that, which I'm very pumped for.
Yeah.
But I think, having that ideation and setting the bar and setting the standard from the top, people need to know where you're going. People need to know your North Star to believe in that vision and to be a contributor to that. And so I think for me, I'm very good at, we already know what we're doing until Jan 2027.
Yeah.
So, and the team for the last year have known that. So they know what's coming. They know what's going to be the big moments in the year. There's no surprises. It's just now getting everyone in line to the expectation of ways of working and delivery. Yeah. And that's just going to be something that we do together as a team.
It's funny because you've touched on something that I'm like super.
We're going to go there.
But yeah, we're going there for sure.
I have to remember my question.
We talk about we end up seeing lots of people who have values, a value set, and spend a lot of time and a lot of money working around their business values and their core values and all that kind of stuff. And I would say there's probably two now businesses that the value set creates the decision-making criteria, right? If you're true to the values. And so many businesses out there, we would ask, well, okay, what are your values? And they're like, oh, well, hang on a minute. It's on the wall somewhere. I mean, if you're doing it and you're utilizing, you're doing it properly, and those values are the criteria about how you make those decisions, then emotional or sort of commercial, they form elements, but your decision-making criteria is based around those values. So congratulations, because that is probably one of the hardest things to do. And Sharron, I'm probably a little bit more...
You're cynical about it because you've seen it done really poorly. I'm an advocate because I've seen and embedded it really successfully.
For sure.
And when you are true to them and you start creating behaviours, it's behaviours that define how you're going to move forward. Yeah. It's powerful.
Super powerful.
For sure. And we're not perfect, and that's why we're reigniting this again. But I think it's in a way, Ben actually said it to me yesterday and it really stuck with me. Identifying the North Star or where you want to go and instilling the values of what that looks like to go there, that is where culture is formed.
Correct.
And that was...
Where's Ben from?
Ben from Juno. That really stuck with me because I was like, you know what? It all starts from the top.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think through the nature of being busy, as founders, as leaders, being busy, you set the parameters and you show it, but you might actually forget to say it in the way that you feel it. And then if your team don't know that linkage between why we're doing 100%. What we're doing, how are they going to jump on for the ride and believe in that vision as much as you do? And that's where the cultural shifts, I guess, happen because why are they showing up every day? Yeah. And that was like this light bulb moment going, oh my God, yes, we can instill this even further. And I love that. I loved having that conversation.
Yeah. I'm 100% with you. I'm going to come back to the question that I thought about before when we were talking about, emotional versus commercial decisions and just, how much do you trust your gut?
Always.
Right.
In moments where I thought, I'll challenge my gut, never ended well.
Right, yeah.
So, like my gut with spending over $100,000 on a formula and packaging that was ready to launch and me completely pulling that last minute, I knew it just wasn't the right timing. It wasn't the right formula. It wouldn't have been the right price point. It wouldn't have been anything that would have aligned to where we are now. And then it took 2.5 years after that to launch our now Gradual Tan, which has become a bestseller.
Which is awesome.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
Kiri, my wife, she's like, it needs to become bigger and bigger and bigger bottles.
Yeah, literally. Everyone's requested a jumbo size of the Gradual, so stay tuned.
Maybe one of those ones that's on your, we were talking about before. Those
that's
huge,
a really big one.
Yeah. Oh my God. Can you imagine? Jeez, people have said, I just need a bath load or a bucket load of this stuff. And that's really heartwarming. And I think, that is where I never settle. Yep. Any moments that I feel I'm forced to settle or I have to settle.
It's not the right thing.
It doesn't work. Yeah. We're always having to go back. So I will, as I said, always go, slow before, walk before you run.
Yeah.
Or crawl, walk, run. But I just feel, that has been something that I always thought I believed in, but could be a negative to our growth.
Yeah.
And one person who was very senior in the US, on a big board, has done huge acquisitions. I had the privilege of meeting this person. And he was like, I have to say, Priscilla, your restraint is commendable. And I was like, oh, I'm like, thank you. And I kind of looked at him, what do you mean? And he's like, no. Like your conservative aspect of the way that you have set the business up to scale and you winning in your home market and you cementing your foundations here and you building proof of your product and your brand equity, that is only ever going to benefit you. You know, doing that too soon, leaving the nest too soon, it doesn't always end well. And
it really ends well. I mean, we talk about this all the time with clients
All the time.
you know, they build a service or a product and they're launching into the next thing before they've really grounded that. And, you know, you want it to become your cash cow.
For sure.
You want it to be secure enough that you can then start launching into other things.
And I think the other thing is that the founder inevitably gets shiny ball complex, and they take their eye off their bread and butter. And what happens is that that's okay if you've set up such a bulletproof structure in that original business where you can take an overarching role or view of that business. And 9 times out of 10, because, you know, that's the entrepreneurial way, right? It's like, you know, you look for the opportunities and you chase it and you create something that, you know, a lot of our work is around structuring and securing that business to allow the business owner to, well, exit from the business, from the day-to-day operation, and not lose control, kind of like what we've talked about, but have the ability to start looking at other things while the home fires are still burning strong. And it's done very rarely really well, I would say.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree. I wanted to touch on, I mean, you've got a brand that's right out there in market, a lot of followers. That must come with some negative feedback from your customers. How does that impact you?
We take it really seriously. You know, all feedback is good feedback. You know, they are the voice of the brand and we need to listen to them. And through all the years of suggestions from customers, it's actually propelled and grown the business because of us listening to them. Right. You know, for 5 years, people were like, we want a jumbo size, we want a pump, we want, you know, it was very specific. It wasn't a jumbo in a tube or a jumbo in a tub. It was, we want a jumbo pump bottle, we want it to be this, we want it to be that. And it took so long for us to, you know, bring that to market based on the compatibility of the formula with a new packaging, because that was only for the aluminium BPA tube, which took over 12 months to create for the formula. So it was a lengthy process, but when we launched it, it doubled our business overnight. And so we learned, like, very quickly, listening to the customer, good or bad, is so imperative. Yeah. And we take it really seriously. You know, there was issues with our first, we have gloss balms now, but we had a lip and eye balm from the very beginning. And we went through all the stability testings and all the compliance and all this, you know, sampling, and everything seemed fine. But when it scaled up into production, something happened. And because it's all based on 100% natural organic ingredients, the solidification of the coconut oil in cold weather would become hard. And so we used to get feedback on...
Good for Queensland, bad for Melbourne.
Correct. And we used to get feedback being like, you know, this is hard to use and this is this and this is this. And so we tried to reformulate and it just wasn't working for us. Yeah. And so we discontinued it because we were like, you know what, we don't want this to be a bad, negative, you know, experience. And it was really interesting when we pulled it, we had so many people like, where's my lip and eye balm? So the people that loved it. And the people that knew how to work it in, because you had to massage it into the skin. People that knew how to work it, loved it. Yeah. But from a new customer experience, people are, oh, what is this? Like, this is terrible. Like, we just didn't want that experience for people. So yeah, we're very good at listening. We are not perfect. We always want to improve. I said to Jake, we're never going to be comfortable. I don't ever want that feeling because being comfortable at the top never ends well. We always can be better. We always can be improving. We always can be listening and, evolving. And so we take that very seriously.
What about, I mean, you're the face of the brand. What about personal feedback, negative for you? Do you experience that at all?
I feel I show up very well for Bangn, but I really do not have a personal presence, I would say. Like, I have an Instagram. I don't really have a TikTok. I know in the world of founder-led form content and small docu-series videos is a big thing right now. And that is something that I do feel I want to lean into, but I've always had struggles with, again, being this private person and showing up in a personal way. Like, anytime my team's like, Priscilla, we need a video for TikTok or we need a video for Instagram, we need sure, I'm there, no I'm problem. I'm connected, I love it. But personally, I don't feel I have that. And so therefore, thankfully, there hasn't been a lot of heat or questions, I guess, touch wood. But I guess it's, something, I guess, within the business that I just want to be, you know, as honest and transparent and show up for our customers as much as possible. Yeah. And so, not perfect. You know, there's probably, you know, something that that I don't see. You know, like I don't know. But in terms of personal, I feel like thankfully I haven't given people opportunity to do it.
I mean, I think that comes to the authenticity of who you are. You know, you present yourself in a way that's honest and authentic, and I think that's an incredible way to present yourself.
Thank you.
Rapid fire. We got some questions
Go for
you.
it. Great.
Are you ready?
Let's go.
Best piece of business advice you've ever been given?
Oh, that's tough.
Do you know what?
You can pass too.
No, you can't pass.
You can pass.
The funny thing is that this is such a funny question because I reckon I've had, and someone asked me this question the other day, and it took me ages to figure out there's so much advice that, you know, I've been given personally and business and all this kind of stuff that you go, I reckon that's the toughest question. Sorry, this is not becoming rapid fire.
Yeah, we're going to bring it. I mean, for me, really easy and really, really early in my career, it was all about be yourself.
Yeah.
Don't try to be anyone else but who you are. And that's a great piece of advice because I think that there's a lot of people out there that aspire to be someone else, and that
very true.
Is real. I think if you can just be who you are and be really comfortable with that, you can propel yourself forward pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I feel like it's not necessarily advice. It's just a belief, like, you know, go with your gut.
Yeah.
And if it's not a hell yes, it's a no.
Well,
I love it.
And
that's probably what I would say.
There you go.
I had a business a little while ago which we sold, but it was if there's no plan B. And I was like, what does that mean? He goes, well, it means if you've got a plan B, your plan A isn't good enough. And I was like,
yeah, that's good.
I love that. Like, I mean, obviously with my personality, that works very well.
Yeah.
Sorry, we digress.
Most overrated business buzzword.
Community.
Oh, good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
So we all use that too, though, don't we?
Yeah, we always use it. It's a two-part question. Go to breakfast while at home and then while on holidays.
Oh, always on holidays, acai bowl.
Yeah,
Like,
nice.
it depends on where I'm at. If somewhere cold, it'll be Avo, smashed Avo on toast.
Yeah.
Traditional.
Yeah.
And then if
very
it's
traditional. Very Melbourne of you.
very Melbourne with a side of halloumi.
Oh, God.
And then, very, very stereotype, the same. And then, a fresh, yummy acai bowl when I'm away. If it's somewhere hot, I'm obsessed.
Love it.
Home, I feel like I'm never, I'm always so busy for breakfast, so I'll just have like a bar or something on the run.
Yeah, fair.
If Juno was a band,
what
instrument would you play?
I just had a piano in my brain pop up.
We don't have a pianist, so that works
Okay,
well.
great.
Two saxophone players.
Two saxophones, problematic, but
yeah.
Weird or surprising skill that no one knows you have.
Oh.
But you got to keep PG rated.
I was going to say weird or surprising skill. I don't know if it's surprising, but I feel I am really good under pressure and getting out of fires.
Yeah.
Like, there's a problem, call Priscilla. I'll fix it.
It's actually funny. We're going to be doing a couple of these interviews, and one of them is being Greg reading the coffee. The coffee, the print that the coffee cup makes. What's that called? It's so funny.
know.
It's like reading the tea leaves, but it's reading the coffee beans that it leaves as you sip the coffee.
Oh.
And then there's a whole story behind that.
My
Oh my
God.
God, it's the funnest thing to do ever.
Well, we're at the end. It's been awesome to spend the last hour with you. Great conversation, great understanding about what it's taken to get you where you are today. Incredibly impressive, Priscilla. And when we talk about the skincare royalty, we mean that.
Yeah,
so
we do mean that.
very thankful that you've been on with us today.
Yeah, and thanks for sharing the story. I mean, you know, there's the Instagram and the story that 99% of the people see, and then there's probably the real story, and then there's the story you only talk with your partner. So thank you for sharing the middle bit with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. No, thank you for having me. This has been so fun.
Thanks.
High fives.
Oh yeah, high fives. And you have to have one too.
Good job.
Thanks, Priscilla.
Thank you so much. That was amazing.